Hey friends, Aubrey here from Rod Squad TV. Welcome back. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. Today we are jumping in and I'm going to show y'all some of my favorite homemade spice mixes to make from home. If you are wanting to become more of a home cook from scratch type of person, spices and spice mixes are going to be your absolute best friend. I have a new beautiful countertop, but I had to make sure I had designated space on my island for my spice rack because it is just that important. I need easy access and daily exposure because I use them all the time. So today I was running very shy on some of my staples. So we are going to be going over making some homemade chicken bouillon. Now I love this one because I do make homemade bone broth, but I don't always have it every single second that I would need bone broth. I just can't keep up. We are a family of 9 and that's a lot of bone broth, you guys. So I love having this because if I ran out of all of it, I can still make a pot of soup. I can throw in some of this and it is so flavorful, so delicious, and it doesn't contain any of the crazy ingredients that are found at the grocery store. If you go and you find some of the little chicken bouillon, even the organic better than bouillon is really not that much better, like despite the name. And so I love being able to eliminate those extra food additives from our daily intake of food and just make something from scratch that I can keep in my pantry that is shelf stable. Another thing we're going to be going over is taco seasoning. Super simple. There is a secret ingredient that might surprise you. And what I like to do, honestly, you guys, is just write them out, the ingredients out on my jars. You can barely see. But there are things that just make life easier. And instead of having to memorize it or have it in a notebook somewhere that I have to dig up, I just wrote it on the jar. Perfect. And lastly today, we're going to be making some Italian seasoning. Now, I want you to notice, you do not have to have anything fancy in order to do this. I love saving jars. I have a really hard time. It might be a problem getting rid of jars, but this was an old pickle jar. This was an old salsa jar. This was an old peanut butter jar. And if you are an essential oil loving friend like I am, you can even just get lemon essential oil and it takes off all of this sticky residue left over from maybe the label. So grab some empty jars, grab a bunch of spices, and let's get to mixing. First off, we've got the taco seasoning. We need chili powder, oregano, chopped onion, salt, paprika, garlic, cumin, and drumroll please, baking cocoa. And cocoa powder is no stranger to Mexican cooking. Just think of mole, so don't be afraid of it. All it does is make a richness in the flavor, but it does not make your tacos taste like chocolate, I promise. I ended up putting it in a big bowl because I was having a hard time with the jar, but just stir it on up and put it in whatever jar of choice. Next up, we've got the Italian seasoning. So for this, we just need the parsley, basil, oregano, garlic, rosemary, onion, crushed red pepper, and black pepper. This one is super simple. You're just going to scoop it on in there. This one only filled up my jar about halfway, so I had plenty of space to stir it at the end. Give it a good shake, and you are done. Now for my personal favorite, we've got the poultry seasoning. So you'll need some nutritional yeast, garlic, onion, Italian, poultry seasoning, turmeric, pepper, and salt is optional, or you can just salt it when you're actually making your meal. All right, so basically I did use the whole package of nutritional yeast. It was a little short of 2 cups, but if you buy this, I wouldn't buy 2 to make up for it. I just did 1 package solid, and then 4 tablespoons of garlic powder, another 4 tablespoons of onion powder, and I just dump and go. I'm not trying to make it super challenging or difficult. Got the homemade Italian seasoning. I do like to always give them a shake. I have put spice blends like this in the food processor to make it where they don't kind of settle the same, but I'm just not feeling it today, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm doing 2 tablespoons of my homemade Italian. So yeah, if you don't want to do the whole food processor, just shake them before you use them. Then I need a poultry seasoning, which I do not have. I only have sage. I don't have any of it made up. So I am going to do 2 tablespoons of sage. And most poultry seasoning has some thyme, and my Italian seasoning did not have thyme. So I'm just going to add in a little thyme. We could all use a little extra thyme. And I like using turmeric in this recipe mainly for the color. It's going to give your chicken broth that nice yellow rich color that you are looking for. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you just stir it up and you do not use a food processor. This is definitely usable, but it will be a more fine incorporated powder if you want to get out a food processor and just mix it up for a bit. And that's it. In less than 10 minutes, we made 3 spice mixes, and now you're ready to cook your next meal from scratch. And it won't be bland, it won't be flavorless. You can wow your audience from toddlers all the way up to people coming over for dinner, and you will be able to provide a meal very quick and easy that is full of flavor but does not contain any of the additives and crazy food ingredients that you often find at the grocery store. If you are wanting to live a healthier lifestyle, and sometimes we just don't know where to start, and literally just take a step. Any step today, if today your step is no longer buying packet seasonings and making them yourself, that's an awesome step. If today your step is just drinking more water or going for an afternoon walk, whatever the case may be, I'm all about sustainable growth and sustainable lifestyle changes, because that is where you're truly going to see health and vitality thrive, not on these quick fixes, not on these, weekend crazy fast and do this 3-day thing. Like, no, that's not where it's at. It is a lifestyle, and every little step you take, every change you make, every decision you make, all adds up to a lifestyle change. I am so glad that y'all joined us today, and until next time, have a very blessed day.
Bye.